Bama, 21 verbal commitments for the 2023 class. And the latest one on the defensive line. Freddie Roach said, I heard y'all talking about me. I heard y'all. Let me go up here and snatch up four-star Edric Hill right quick. We hear you, Coach Freddie. We hear you, and we see you. And with that being said, we are 12 days away from Crimson Tide football. You're rocking and rolling right now. Hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own word, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you all checking us out on a Monday, getting that work week started off for you correctly. As always, we're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, hit that subscribe button, smash subscribe right now. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, every casual Bama fan, every college football fan you know to hit subscribe, because if you enjoy the content, they will also be sure to give us that like, hit that thumbs up, give us that like on the show, run those likes up, make this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Crimson Tide. We got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you this show. We got a great one. We got a fantastic one planned for you guys. A little bit later on in the show, we got the man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst, coming on. He spent the whole weekend, you the fans, covering Dylan Larnigan, covering Caleb Downs, covering Justice Haynes, covering Tony Mitchell and others on the recruiting trail over the weekend. And also, he's come to talk about one Edric Hill, four-star defensive lineman who just gave his verbal to the Crimson Tide today, and what that young man brings to the program. So going to be awesome to hear from Justin. But we want to hear from you also, the incredible fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Don't let tonight go by without letting your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. That daily super chat goal, $75. Daily super chat goal there. It seems like Life of Jason has got us started with that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate Life of Jason helping us out, and Dancing Steven showing his appreciation, getting down there on the desk there. But we're getting now topic number one here, folks, of the conversation, and that being Alabama's final scrimmage of fall camp was over the weekend. Coach Saban called it the dress rehearsal before the first game of the season, which takes place Saturday, September 3rd, next Saturday, Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Crimson Tide taking on Utah State, 6:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. I believe SEC Network will have the call there for that one. And in the final scrimmage, Coach Saban mentioned quite a few things. First and foremost, he wants to see the second team offensive line improve. I understand that group, still some mental errors, still some mistakes, still some bumps and bruises in the road that they're trying to get worked out there. So he wants to see improvement there from the second team unit. But the first team, as far as first team offense, first team defense, a lot of improvement. Saban really happy about this group, first team offense and first team defense. But getting inside the nuggets that, I spoke with people, close people, credible people inside the program that know what exactly is going on. And so here are some nuggets I gathered here from the final scrimmage of fall camp. First and foremost, Bama's got a veteran receiver who is rising, who has emerged, who has stepped all the way up. He ain't playing around. He ain't joking around no more. He is now taking the moment. That veteran is Traeshon Holden, Jr., came in the 2020 class, four-star at wide receiver, 6'3". He had a good first scrimmage, but the second game-like practice, Coach Saban mentioned, he had 4 to 5 catches. I was told by credible sources, the brother had 3 touchdowns. Traeshon playing had 3 scores, including a 60-yarder where he caught a pass from Bryce Young, put a move on Traeshon Arnold, took it to the house. One of his 3 touchdowns was shown in the recap video that Bama put up on its Twitter account. If you haven't checked that out there, check that out. But 3 touchdowns there for Traeshon Holden. And one of my good friends that's from California, played in the NFL, good buddy of mine, talked about how, he's in the area where Holden went to school at, Narbonne High School there. And, Traeshon went to a place where he was bigger than everybody else, faster than everybody else, taller than everybody else, more physical than everybody else. And when you play at high schools like that, sometimes it sets up a false sense of security where you feel like when I get to college, it's going to be the same thing. But that's not always the case. Traeshon Holden gets to Alabama and he figures out, whoa, there's guys just as fast as I am, if not faster. There are guys big as I am, if not bigger. There are guys as strong as I am, if not stronger. And when that hits you in the face like that, sometimes it takes players a year or 2 to kind of adjust, come around, assess things, and get back right. And it took Traeshon, 2 years to kind of get everything in order. But now he's in a position where he can be one of the 3 or 4 starters at wide receiver. Coach Saban mentioned 4 to 5 catches in this recent scrimmage. I was told 3 touchdowns, including 1, 60 yards, put a move on Traeshon Arnold, get into the end zone there. But right along with Holden, there is a freshman that is continuing to gain attention. There is a freshman who's continuing to make noise and turn heads, and that is Kobe Prentice, 4-star from Calera High School. Folks, through 2 scrimmages, 8 catches, including 1 for a touchdown. I was told in the second game like practice, he worked with the first team offense, had 3 catches, including 1 for a touchdown against the Twos. Kobe Prentice is chirping. Prentice is making some noise here, and we've seen this with freshmen being able to make an impact on the field. 2017, if you remember, Bama brought in a trio of talented freshmen. You talk Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, and Jeudy got all the talk coming in. Oh, he can juke you out your shoes. Oh my gosh, he's insane. Jeudy got so much conversation. Henry Ruggs, oh my gosh, he's fast. They can't catch him. He's quick. He's fast as lightning. Ruggs got a lot of conversation. Devontae Smith did not garner a lot of conversation. I just remember fall camp, open practice, August of 2017. I'm on the field with black pants on in 100-degree heat, almost trying to kill myself. And Cam Sims pointed me in the direction of Devontae Smith and said, Steven, that guy's it. And I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth that guy's it. And I go inside the press box and I watch the open practice for about 2 hours. And I'm left going, holy smoke, that guy's it. And Devontae Smith ended up being the guy throughout his entire career. Ended up being the guy, though he was not the most talked about when he first came in. 4 and 11 drew a lot of the conversation. But at the end, it was 6. That number 6, they ended up being the greatest to ever come through the Alabama program at that position. When you look at right here, where Kobe Prentice is concerned, Isaiah Bond has gotten a lot of conversation. Jeez, he's fast. Aaron Anderson has gotten a lot of conversation. Oh my gosh, look at him. Shaz Preston has gotten conversation. Kendrick Law has gotten conversation. Not a whole lot been made about Kobe Prentice. He's the one creating a lot of attention here in fall camp. Does this mean he starts? We'll see. But through 2 scrimmages, 8 catches, including 1 there for a touchdown. Moving on here to other things from the scrimmage, the offensive line. And the offensive line for Alabama continues to look like this. It's still Tyler Steen at left tackle. Coach Saban pleased with what Steen has been doing as a transfer coming over from Vanderbilt. Kendall Randolph still at left guard. Saban trying to give the sixth-year veteran every opportunity to win a starting spot. Randolph at left guard over Javion Cohen as of right now. Darian Dalcourt at center in the second scrimmage. At the right side is still the same. Emil Ekiyor Jr. at right guard. J.C. Latham there at right tackle. So that's how that looks there. Javion Cohen still trying to work his way back in that starting spot, hopefully. But right now, Kendall Randolph still in that left guard position. And at center, though Seth McLaughlin and Darian Dalcourt are fighting this thing out for that starting role. In the second scrimmage, Dalcourt was at center. Speaking of McLaughlin, he and Eli Ricks were both held out of the second scrimmage. Now, this was not anything major. This is basically precautionary things. McLaughlin was held out. He dressed out. Eli Ricks practiced this week, dressed out for the scrimmage, held out, precautionary reasons. Ricks has been dealing with sort of a back thing, but according to Coach Saban, nothing serious, nothing severe with him. Those two were both held out, though they scrimmaged all last week in practice leading up to the second scrimmage there. Moving on here, we look at Terrion Arnold here. And with Ricks held out, Arnold has been getting more and more looks here at first-team corner, and he's been excelling. I mean, he's been coming on. I mean, he has been surging. He has looked really good opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. And it brings a conversation of, can Terrion Arnold pass up Eli Ricks for the starting job? I know it's crazy to think about that, right? Because this is Eli Ricks coming over from LSU, 16 games of experience. As a freshman in 2020, had 4 interceptions, made the All-SEC freshman team. He posted these words of affirmation on his mirror about wanting to be a first-round draft pick, wanting to win the Jim Thorpe Award, wanting to be a first-team All-American, wanting to have 5+ interceptions, 20+ pass breakups. You know, all of these things Ricks posted on the mirror, right? Those words of affirmation. So it's crazy to think, you know, could Terrion Arnold pass up Eli Ricks? But through 2 scrimmages, he's been the starter at corner opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. Arnold came in 5-star in the 2021 class from Tallahassee, Florida, played safety right there. He's been flipped to corner since then, but he's been showing a lot of potential there at that corner spot. So Terrion Arnold continued to push and press and grow and trying to pass up maybe Eli Ricks, therefore, that starting spot as the battle at corner continues to go there. Now, sticking with defense, Jaheim Otis, I was told, ran with the first team on the line in red zone defense. Last week, DJ Dale talked about Otis's body transformation, how he dropped all the weight, how focused he is, how determined he is, how he's going to be ready. When his number's called, he singled out Otis as one of those guys that's been really putting in the work here in camp. And, you know, Otis, who's gone from 416 to 342 pounds. Pete Golden talked about it. He's got more wiggle than what people give him credit for. He's dominated in one-on-one matchups, one-on-one situations. Coach Saban's been high on him. Will Anderson spoke on when he sees Otis on the field, he gets distracted just watching this man move the way he is, despite his size, getting back into the backfield, wrecking shop. 91 is going to be on the field. 91 is going to get a lot of playing time this year, just for what he's been able to put in as a freshman. But working red zone defense there in the second scrimmage for the first team. As we look at now, Emmanuel Henderson and Ja'Cory Brooks. This is interesting. Emmanuel Henderson getting reps as a slot receiver. He worked with the backups in the second scrimmage. I've said this before. If he doesn't see action as a running back, and that's because Alabama is stacked at that position right now, don't be shocked if Henderson, 5-star 2022 class, gets reps at wide receiver, gets reps on kickoff return and or punt return. He's a dynamic athlete, but he's been working with receivers throughout fall camp to this point. And Ja'Cory Brooks, though he had a good scrimmage at receiver, Coach Saban is trying to work him as a punt returner. Keep in mind, JoJo Earl out 6 to 8 weeks because of a foot fracture. He can make his return back that first week of October, but Coach Saban trying to work different guys in at that punt return spot. Ja'Cory Brooks was the first one out there in the second scrimmage trying to return those punts. And when you look at now Jahmyr Gibbs from the second scrimmage, Gibbs, he's showing you he's got speed and power. We know the speed. He's got the explosiveness and the afterburners to take it to the house, but he's showing power also. I was told had 60-plus yards rushing on a few carries in the second scrimmage, including a 50-yard run where he shook off some tackles, he bounced off some tackles, and he hit a burst into the open field. Gibbs is showing you he's everything that running back one is supposed to be. He's got your speed, he's got your power, he's got your acceleration, he's got your explosiveness, he's got your versatility as a pass catcher and a kickoff returner. He's got your power in between the tackles, in between the holes, and he's got your pass blocking ability as well. Now, Jace McClellan looked good in the second scrimmage. Wardell Williams scored a touchdown in the second scrimmage. The whole running back room looks good, but Jahmyr Gibbs is showing you that he is running back one. He has everything needed to be running back one for your Alabama Crimson Tide. But those were just some of the highlights that I was able to glean from people I spoke with from the second scrimmage, the dress rehearsal, as Alabama now 12 days away from the college football season. We take a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get to the man, the legend, Justin Smith is coming on to talk about Caleb Downs, Justice Haynes, Dylan Larnigan, Edric Hill, all of these recruits for 2023. We get with Justin after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets, covering your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Before we go to the phone lines, I got to shout out my man Tobias Brookins from Fresno. When I believe that $50 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate Tobias showing love here to us on the show. Dancing Stephen doing his thing as always in the khaki pants on the desk there. But right now, we go to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, the man that's doing everything in terms of recruiting. He was at several games over the weekend watching the likes of Caleb Downs, of Justice Haynes, of Dylan Larnigan, of Tony Mitchell, and so much more. We bring him on right now. We got my man Justin Smith in the building. Justin, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Steven. Always good to be on.
Absolutely fun to talk recruiting with our own Justin Smith. So, Justin, let's get into it. Crimson Tide bringing in its 21st verbal commitment for the 2023 class, and this time, Freddie Roach getting that defensive lineman, 4-star Edric Hill coming in here. Very versatile, very explosive athlete. So, when you watch the tape as he gives his verbal commitment, what does Edric Hill bring the Tide? As a run stopper, as a pass rusher, how does he fit the culture at Alabama? What did this move mean, getting him on the defensive line?
Well, in terms of his film, I think he flashes some quickness at 6'3", 290 pounds. I think he's in a great range right now in terms of his height and his weight. I think he has just a great frame in general. I think he's going to be one of those guys when you see him, he does not look like a typical defensive lineman who's carrying around a lot of weight. I think he has a pretty muscular build compared to most defensive linemen, but I think he flashes that quickness off of the snap. You see a lot of times he's beating offensive linemen out of their stance. I think that is one of the things that first stands out to me. He looks to be really strong, can eat up some blocks, which is something that you like interior defensive linemen to do at times, to open up rush lanes for linebackers and possibly blitz and defensive backs. So there's a lot to like about Edric Hill. Definitely a good piece for the Tide to pick up at this point in the 2023 recruiting class. Just a solid pickup, a guy who I think can be developed into a solid defensive lineman for the Crimson Tide. With them being 6'3", 290, he will most likely be an interior guy. I think with him adding on him, got Hunter Osborne. You also can add Yancey Pierre to the situation, although he is a edge rusher, not a typical defensive lineman, outside linebacker. He will be an outside linebacker on Alabama's roster. So we take a look at Osborne, Pierre, and now Hill. The Crimson Tide's defensive line group, in my opinion, is off to a solid start. If they can win some key and crucial recruiting battles in the future, this class could be really, really special, but they have to definitely land some other guys to make that defensive line group really special.
So, Justin, as we look at the film here on Hill on screen, is there anything that jumps out more to you about him versus Kelby Collins? I know Alabama was in on Collins, but he chose Florida. But watching Hill, is there anything that he brings, whether it's his first step quickness, whether it's his subtleness, whether it's the explosive moves, whether it's him getting to the quarterback and hitting home, anything particular with Hill that jumps out to you more versus maybe a Kelby Collins?
I wouldn't say that. I think Collins is still a very, very good defensive lineman. I don't think there's anything that's glowingly different from either one of those. I think if I had to compare, probably Kelby probably a little bit of a better pass rusher than Edric Hill, a little bit more versatile as well, because Collins could honestly be an outside linebacker or an edge rusher, just based on how he can get after the quarterback off the edge. So I don't think there's any glowing comparisons between the two. I think Edric Hill is a solid pickup. Of course, the Tide would have loved to add Kelby Collins. I'm pretty sure they're still going to push for him. Official visit to Alabama for him in the future is not off the table. Family grew up, he grew up Alabama fan. His family is an Alabama fan. So the Tide will definitely still be involved in his recruitment, but we will see how that plays out. But Hill is a solid pickup. Collins would have been a really, really great pickup for the Crimson Tide. We'll see how that plays out. But Hill, like I said, I think he flashes that quickness off of the snap with the football. Can eat up some blocks, strong at times. You see him pushing through offensive linemen. So I like what the Crimson Tide are getting in Hill. I think he's a pretty solid pickup.
If you're just checking out the show today on a Monday, we got the man, the legend, Justin Smith, lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine here on In My Own Words. So, Justin, I mentioned over the weekend, you were everywhere. You were watching several of Alabama's commitments out there on the field. First high school football games of the season. So first, let's get into Justice Haynes, who had over 150 all-purpose yards for Buford High School and a big win there against Thompson. And Haynes running the ball, catching the ball, 96-yard kick return touchdown, just doing everything. When you watch his speed, when you watch his footwork, his vision, his cutback ability, just the way he goes about having such a feel for the game with the ball in his hands. I mean, how impressive is this kid when you watched him up close and personal against a very stingy defense like Thompson?
I think he's special. He's a special running back. Easily one of the most complete running backs I've ever seen at high school football level in terms of what he can do. I feel he checks all the boxes. I feel he can do everything. We already had him rated as a 5-star recruit heading into that game. If I could add him another star, I'd probably give him another star. But he was really, really special in that matchup. Check every single box that I could imagine, even blocking and pass protection, which is something you rarely see a high school running back, even a top tier running back, being able to do, at least being able to show that they can block for their quarterback. I posted the clips of him blocking Peter Woods, of course, which is something that's very hard to do. That was a great play. If you guys go back and watch that play, it's on our YouTube, it's on my Twitter as well. Peter Woods made a great rush on the quarterback, good on good. With a guy like Woods going after your quarterback, you at least need to get in the way, and I think Justin Haynes did a great job basically getting in the way, throwing a great block. It really gave his quarterback a little, like a 2 or 3 extra seconds to get the ball off. If Haynes is not there, his quarterback will definitely not get the ball off when Peter Woods rushes, especially with a guy like they got the closing speed that Peter Woods has. So I saw his ability to block for his quarterback in terms of being in pass protection as a running back, catching the football out of the backfield. I think something that he really did really smoothly as well, something that a lot of people may not talk about because you have to basically see it in person, how smoothly he can transition from being a blocker and just sneak out to the side of his quarterback and become a safety valve, just become a receiving threat very easily. I think he does that very smooth. I think he's a decent route runner out of the backfield as well. But in terms of his balance, tremendous balance when he's running the football, great vision, that cutback ability is really impressive. And I think that goes with his vision. He's always looking for that cutback lane, and whenever he finds it, he can get to it really, really quickly. So I am very, very impressed with Justice Haynes. I think he's one of the most complete running backs in the country. I came in expecting a lot from him in that matchup, and he really impressed me. Like I said, going up against that tough Thompson defense, and the score of that game is really misleading with Thompson losing 38-7. I want people to keep in mind, if you didn't watch the game, I think Thompson threw 2 pick sixes. They fumbled the ball inside the 5-yard line when they were about to run in. Of course, Justice Haynes kickoff return, so that was about a 28-point swing. So it was pretty much a defensive slugfest for the most part, and Haynes had to fight for several yards. Was very complimentary of Woods and Thompson's defense afterwards, telling me that was the best defense he ever played in his life. And he said Peter Woods was a grown man. So Justice Haynes really impressed me.
Now, as we look at some other guys here, Justin, you got a chance to see Caleb Downs, 5-star safety, number 1 safety in this class. The last time Alabama had the number 1 safety in the recruiting class, it would go back to Landon Collins in 2012. So you watched Caleb Downs and you watched 4-star quarterback Dylan Larnigan go at it as well. What makes those two guys impressive players, just watching them on the field in their first high school matchup of the season?
Well, first off, Caleb Downs will be in the conversation to be the number 1 player in the country by the time the 2023 recruiting class is over with. He's a very, very special talent, put on one of the most impressive defensive performances I have seen in person. Compared to Jeremiah Alexander, who I saw last year at Trussville High School, that was a very impressive performance. But I think Caleb Downs might have beaten him out with the performance he put on. In terms of him coming downhill, making great tackles in open space, in terms of solo tackles, I'm talking about tackles where his teammates was nowhere around. He made a solid tackle with force, brung his arms, made sure the defender got on the ground each and every time. And he plays so fast. He diagnoses things very quickly, and he has no wasted movement and coverage. He's a very special player. I think his film is crazy, especially take a look at some of the film that we broke down in the past. But I think it doesn't even do it justice how special he is in person. So this is a very, very great pickup for the Crimson Tide, as everybody knows, because he is a 5-star defensive back, played on both sides of the football for Mill Creek High School, played some running back on the second carry of the game. He took the ball to the house. Of course, he caught an interception. Well, it's supposed to be a pick six, but his teammate basically tackled him before he got into the end zone. So Caleb Downs was very, very impressive. I think he's going to be in the conversation to be the number 1 player in the country. I don't think his number 1 safety in the country rating and ranking is not going anywhere anytime soon. Dylan Lonergan was solid. I really liked the way that he shaked back after turning the football over 2 times. I think on his first couple of drives, threw an interception fumbled the ball on his first drive, threw an interception on the following drive. basically shook off those 2 turnovers and rallied back, throwing 2 passing touchdowns. Also ran a touchdown in with a quarterback sneak. Also filled the game up with a big rushing game towards the end of the matchup. So Brooker was able to kneel it down a little bit later in the game. And he is working with a new wide receiver group, so he's continuing to pick up chemistry with those guys. I really like the way that he was able to bounce back. Really, really impressive with his ability. Really impressed with his ability to run the football. I think that is something that is a bit underrated in his game. I think he ran for close to 70 yards in that matchup with that 1 rushing touchdown. I wouldn't consider him a dual threat, but he's a better runner than most people may think.
He's Justin Smith, people, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. If you're not following Justin on Twitter, if you're not following Justin here on our YouTube, his show, The Process, every Tuesday and Thursday, breaking down these athletes you are missing out. Over the weekend, he was scouting out Caleb Downs. He was scouting out Dylan Larnigan. He was at the Thompson-Buford game. He was getting all of these top recruits, all of these top commitments here for the Crimson Tide. We're going to take a break right here, folks, in the show. When we get back, we go to your phone calls, your thoughts, your conversations, a dialogue with you, the Bama fans. We're 12 days away from Crimson Tide football. We'll talk to you after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we're rolling back in here from the break. Hottest show on the streets, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy you guys can join us on a Monday. We got to shout out Waylon, the president of the Blue Ridge Gang, on Waylon with that $4.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate that from him. And D. Pickett then came back in here, following up with that with a $4.99 of his own. Appreciate Waylon and D. Pickett showing love here to us on the show. And we now go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang. 205-448-1358, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen, this is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing great, Michael, and yourself?
Good. I got 2 questions for you.
Go ahead.
Has there been any kind of conversations about, who's going to be that, besides Jermaine Burton, who's going to be that significant receiver? I mean, we got Tyler Harrell, we got Jacoby Brooks, we got Christian Leary, we got Traeshon Holden, but is there anybody specifically that we have besides Jermaine Burton that could be that significant wide receiver?
Well, right now, Michael, it looks like Traeshon Holden is trying to make a play in here because second scrimmage had 4 to 5 catches per Saban. I was told Holden had 3 touchdowns. So it looks like Traeshon Holden is the one that's trying to make this move in here in terms of the veterans. Now, Christian Leary, he'll get on the field. He'll see a lot of action, absolutely. Jacoby Brooks, we saw what he did last year as a freshman. We know how clutch he can be. But right now, it seems like Traeshon is saying, don't leave me out of this, especially with the scrimmage he had over the weekend.
And my second question is, what will we see out of guys like Dallas Turner and Jalen Moody and guys like Chris Broswell, Deontay Lawson, you got guys like Damon Payne Jr., Monkel Godwin, Braylon Ingram. What will we see from those guys?
Well, for Braylon Ingram, he's in the transfer portal, so that's where he is. But, guys like Dallas Turner, I expect Dallas Turner to take a Will Anderson type jump, have a massive sophomore year. I think Chris Braswell's ready to take a big jump. He's now learned in the system, so I'm expecting him to have a big season. Guys like Jalen Moody. Moody's been here 5 years, so he knows the system. It's just now him taking everything he's learned and applying it in a bigger role, and I think he'll be able to do that. Guys like Damon Payne and young guys in the defensive line, we'll see a few of those guys step up. But Braylon Ingram, he is actually in the transfer portal.
And I got one last question for you, Stephen.
Go ahead.
So, I'm looking at the schedule, and like I was saying before, I do believe that the Arkansas game is the game to really, keep your eye on, but, I'm interested to hear from you, besides Arkansas, is there another game that you believe that will be like a very fun game to watch? I've always enjoyed watching the Alabama LSU game. They've always been great games. I've always loved it. Enjoyed watching the Alabama Auburn game. Those games have been special. So, is there any game to you that you think will be very special to watch?
I think a good one this year, Michael, could be Alabama-Tennessee. That trip to Rocky Top, that trip to Neyland Stadium this year could be very sneaky interesting because Josh Heupel has done a great job recruiting at Tennessee. Hendon Hooker is back at quarterback. He's really good. I like Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver. He's really good. They've got some strong pieces defensively back. So I think that matchup against Tennessee, that could be a very fun one to watch.
Thank you, Steven.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Michael from South Carolina calling in here, 205-448-1358. Number to call to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Sam, sir, calling from Dallas, Texas. What's up, Steve?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man. I just want to piggyback off a few things that you were talking about earlier with this first caller, man, about one of the most exciting games this year for the Tide. I'm thinking, Steve, it's going to be that Texas A&M game, my brother. That's going to be a pretty powerful game, Steve. That's going to be what we call that shut your mouth game. As you can tell, Steve, Will Anderson already said it, man. We're not doing no talking. We're gonna take care of business on that game. Ty kind of felt some kind of way about it. Of course, I felt some kind of way about it. Jimbo said what he said, which was very disrespectful. Let's keep this in context, Steve. Nick Saban did not lie when he said what he said. And then back it up, we get a video confirming, what was said. And Nick Saban did not lie when he said what he said. And then all of a sudden, Jimbo want to badmouth Coach Saban. And the team feeling some kind of way, Steve. That's number one. Number two, we're looking at this cornerback position. Looks like Kool-Aid McKinstry is locking that thing down on that side. We got another couple of dogs that look like they could take that other side and lock it down. It's going to come down to the wire, Steve, and I'm just going to be honest with you, man, on that other side. I'm interested to know who you think can actually take down that other side opposite of Kool-Aid.
I'll say this, Sam. I'm starting to look very strong at Traeshon Arnold right now. The way he has surged in camp, and I get it, Eli Ricks has experience coming from LSU, but the way Traeshon Arnold has been playing, he has a legit shot to take this. Now, Kyrie Jackson, I know he had been dealing with a bit of a groin issue. He practiced all last week. He practiced 2/3 of the scrimmage. Kyrie could get that spot. It's just, there's just so much depth, Sam, in the secondary. And it's crazy how whoever falls behind the winner of the second cornerback spot, they're going to be still getting sort of major reps in other portions of the defense, because Coach Saban even talked about Brian Branch getting worked in the corner if Alabama needs him. So you literally got 5 to 6 dudes battling for 2 spots here. That just tells you competition is big everywhere on this defense. Kool-Aid McKish is doing his spot. He's doing his job. But that number 2 spot, I really like the push that Arnold's that Arnold's on right now, but whoever takes that spot, they're going to be ready to go.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Steve.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Sam calling in from Dallas, Texas, helping us out here on the show. Tobias Brookins, another $20 dropping into the bucket there. Donating here, showing love for the show. Appreciate my man from Fresno, California, giving us that love there on the channel. Tobias Brookins helping us out right there. 205-448-1358 for number to call in to let your voice be heard, your thoughts, your opinions being made known on this show. 205-448-1358. We are talking Tide with you, the Bama fans. As you guys are getting your thoughts in here, we got some cool call topics. So first and foremost, how about Bryce Young continuing to lock in more NIL deals as Dr. Pepper, the drink of college football. Dr. Pepper has called Bryce Young, and Bryce Young answers the phone. And he gets the NIL deal with Dr. P in a sense of he will be featured in the hot college football commercial Fansville, which is entering its 5th season. So Young taking his talents to the acting part of things, juggling football and acting. So Bryce Young will be in season 5 of Fansville by Dr. Pepper. Going to be fun to watch that all season long. And then also the Associated Press, the AP, released its preseason All-America team, and Alabama had 6 names listed. 4 of those names were first-teamers. Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Eli Ricks, Jordan Battle were all first-teamers. Jahmyr Gibbs, second team, All-American preseason. Emil Ekiyor Jr., second team, preseason All-American. So Alabama led all of college football with the 6 names total on the preseason list for the AP, and they led college football with 4 names being recognized for the first team selection right there. But we take our final break here on the show. Touch that dial, because when we return, I get into this conversation. There are some similarities between this year's Bama team and the 2020 team that went perfect, undefeated, national championship in a COVID-shortened season. We'll get into those similarities to wrap things up after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people. gentlemen, #1 show for your Crimson Tide football news, notes, information, and entertainment. That being, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate you guys checking us out on today and handling that daily Super Chat goal of $75. Before we get to the final topic of conversation, gotta remind you, tomorrow, streaming right here on the TDA YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Central Time, we got the Bama Standard. Bama Standard. You want the fun, you want the laughs, you want the creativity, you want the comedy, you want the Bama guests, you want the legends. You check out the Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on the TDA YouTube channel. Check out Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker Marvin Constant, two-time national champion for your Crimson Tide and USFL champion with the Birmingham Stallions, Bo Scarborough, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. On tomorrow, we're going to have as a special guest former Bama quarterback Brody Croyle. And Brody is bringing some friends with him. You don't want to miss this. Brody Croyle. He's bringing some friends with him. Check out the Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here, TDA YouTube channel. Also, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, fashion, clothing, cultural needs here, check us out, TDAwear.com. Link in the description. We got you covered as we're nearing the end of fall camp. Get that gear. Support your Crimson Tide. If you want to wait to Saturday, September 3rd, when Alabama kicks off against Utah State, you can do that also. But get you that gear. TDAwear.com. Link in the description. Show that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But John and Eli, you look at this year's Alabama team as the Crimson Tide will start its football season next Saturday. There are similarities, in my opinion, between this year's team and the 2020 team in a COVID-shortened year with an all-SEC schedule that went wire to wire, perfect, undefeated national championship season. As we look at these similarities here, sir, on screen, first and foremost, have y'all noticed no players are talking this offseason? I haven't heard a peep from a single player. There hasn't been no conversation whatsoever this offseason. That was the same with the 2020 team. Everybody kind of knew who they were, knew what this team was, knew the potential it had, knew the mindset it had, knew what it was capable of doing. There was not much talking at all. Very little conversation coming out of Alabama in the 2020 season. And this was even when we found out that there was going to be a football season. There was no talk. There was no conversation. It was strictly business. And we're seeing this right now with this team. There's no talk. There's no conversation. Everybody is strictly business. It's, we see the participation trophy in the team cafeteria. We don't like that. We're trying to win the national championship. Everybody's so business. Everybody is so focused. There's been not much talking at all this offseason. It's been like pulling teeth, trying to get information about what's going on in the program. Very little conversation, just like 2020. Also, the Leadership Council has been really good this year so far. And all the young players have bought into it. There's been no I, no me. It's been all we. It's been all team. Everybody's pulling in direction of team. Just like 2020. Everybody knew early on, before the year started, who the leaders were. Landon Dickerson, leader. Gotta listen to that guy. Alex Leatherwood, leader. Gotta listen to that guy. Mac Jones, hey, leader. Gotta listen to him. Devontae Smith, leader. Gotta listen to that dude. There were certain guys on defense that had those leadership qualities. Gotta listen to them. It's the same thing this time around. Will Anderson, gotta listen to that guy, and they are. Bryce Young, gotta take heed to what he's saying, and they are. Henry To'o, gotta focus in on him, and they are. Jordan Battle, gotta pay attention to him, and they are. Even DJ Dale, gotta listen to him, and players are. The Leadership Council been really good. Nick Saban's talked about it. I love the leadership that we have. We have great leadership. Guys are listening to the leadership. Guys want to be led. Young players want to be led by the guys we have put in these leadership roles. Saban has talked about that. Same thing in 2020. Guys wanted to be led by Mac Jones, by Devontae Smith, by Landon Dickerson, by Alex Leatherwood, by Dylan Moses. Guys wanted to be led by those guys. And what happened? National championship. Guys want to be led by Will Anderson, Bryce Young, Henry To'o, Jordan Battle, DJ Dale. 2022, is this looking like national championship? The leadership is in place. Young players want to listen to it. Last but not least, Nick Saban is even trying to keep back his excitement about this team. He's trying to get in front of a lot of things and taper back the expectations and pull things back. Why is he doing that? Because Saban knows exactly what he has. That's why he's doing it. That's why he's holding back his excitement. That's why he's trying to taper back the expectation. Because he knows what he's got with this team. It's almost like, remember as children, when we were in school, right? And we knew how good that lunch choice was. If we had hot wings or nachos for lunch or that real good pizza and we didn't want folks asking for our food, what we used to do? Some childish like cough on our food, not letting the other classmates get near our food. Why? Because we knew what we had and we wanted that food. It's the same thing if you have siblings. There's a piece of candy that you have that you really want. What do? You try your hardest to keep it away from the other siblings. Why? Because that's your candy. You know what you got. Nick Saban, understanding exactly what he has in this team. It's the reason why he's been trying to kind of scale back his excitement a little bit. He knows what he's got. He knows what he's got leadership-wise all over the defense. He knows what he has playmaker-wise, leadership-wise on this offense. He knows what he's got in terms of his coaching staff, even with the new hires that were made early on in the offseason. Saban knows what he has. He did this with the 2020 team. Not giving out much. Not talking much. Not breaking down much. What happened? 2020 team. National championship. A lot of similarities here between 2020 and this year's group. The question becomes, can this year's group do what 2020 did? Run the table all the way, start to finish, win a national championship. It's got the biggest opportunity to get that done. As always, people, you want the best in news, notes, information, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Now, you download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. If you got the Android phone for your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys that we own at thefourthquarter.com, That link in the description as well. Appreciate my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming on here, giving us the update on 4-star defensive lineman Edric Hill, giving his commitment to the Crimson Tide and what he saw over the weekend in commitments like Caleb Downs and Justice Haynes and Dylan Larnigan and Peter and also Tony Mitchell, in terms of the games that Justin saw over the weekend on the field in high school. So appreciate Justin. Appreciate you, the outstanding fans of Bama football. All of the donations, the calls, the conversations, the dialogue, the chats and the chat line coming from you, making this your show, your network platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Also appreciate my two outstanding producers in the production room, my man John Ivory and Eli Walker, doing their thing from behind the scenes, making this the best show on the face of this planet. Keep in mind, people, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, the Bama Standard streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. Check out Brody Croyle, former Alabama quarterback, will be a guest. He'll be on, and he'll be bringing company with him. You don't want to miss this on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, good thing, smart thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored, getting that school work done. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, people, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, you protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, football is almost back, 12 days away. But until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.